This video is going to show you all the different items in your standard toolbar in Smart Notebook. Starting on the left, you have the back and forward buttons. So if you had 2 pages in your slides, you can click on the arrows instead of clicking on the slides. This comes in handy if you're running it full screen. There should be little arrows in the floating toolbar that pops up. Also, you have the undo and the redo button, and that's standard in most programs. Add a page. This one is delete a page, so you can click on that to delete a page. This would open up a file so you can browse and find your file. This would save your file if you need to. The X is, of course, delete. So if I had a green circle and I wanted to get rid of it, I can just click on it and I can push the delete button. This is the screen shade, which is nice because you could use a shade and you could type your story problem up at the top. So maybe you have a math problem here. You can type it out, and then at the bottom you could have the answer, and then you can use the screen shade to hide it until they solve the problem. So the screen shade is kind of neat. You have a table. So if I wanted to add a table, let's say I want 3 by 3, I can add text in it. So if I would put solids, liquids, and gases, I could make a table. I also could add pictures instead. So if I went to the photos gallery over here and I typed, oh, maybe I want a picture of water, and I searched, look down here, and under the picture tab I see a bunch of pictures of water. So I got to find one that I like. Oh, there we go. And I can take it and I can drag it and drop it in where I want. I could also add pictures to the other boxes as well. So let's move on to the next part. We have measurement tools. So let's just say I wanted the kids to measure things. So this looks like a ship. What I could do is I could come over here to the ruler, and in the math tools there's several different ones, but I'm going to go to the ruler and I can rotate it. Looks like centimeter on the top, inches on the bottom. You can rotate it if you need to, but I can click and drag it, and I can have the kids estimate and measure the item. You can always resize the items too if you wanted to make different problems. And they could come to the board and they can drag the ruler over here, and then they can measure the ship. This tab right here is to view screens. Sometimes you want to see what you did in full screen, so you can click here and go to full screen. To get out of full screen, you can click escape or just click on this exit full screen button. And like I said before, you see the forward and back buttons. Right here we have assessments. So if you want to click here and you can create an assessment with multiple choice questions that you can give the kids. We also have the Smart Lab. So if you want to make some of those interactive smartboard games, Smart Lab is here, just like you will find it in the online version. And here we don't use a whole lot at the elementary level. A lot of these are some math tools and things. You're welcome to try those out. The last part I'm going to show you is these right here. If I add another slide, let's start with the shapes. When you click on a shape or click on anything in this toolbar, another menu comes up and I can pick the shape. The pull down menu is giving you more choices. So maybe I want that shape and I want it to be blue, and then I can draw my shape just like that. I could also draw a shape using the polygon tool, so I'm going to go ahead and pick, let's just pick 5-sided shape, and I can draw it. And then the paint bucket, if you ever need to fill something in it with paint, you can click on that, and if it's a shape that has sides and it's kind of blocked off so you can paint, you can just drop that paint right in there. You have your pens. You have a whole variety of pens. So you have black, red, green, of course, but you can also change the color here. So if you wanted an orange, you can use orange. There's a calligraphy pen, so if you're writing, and it works a lot better when you're on the smartboard, but it looks a lot better than the regular writing. You have a highlighter, so if you want to highlight things, you can highlight. And the next one is the text tool. Let me go ahead and switch back. And make sure you always go back to the arrow if you're stuck in a tool, or you're going to be always highlighting. If you're on the highlighter, you want to go back to the arrow so you can select something else. So I'm going to go to the text tool. So maybe I wanted to write a title of my presentation. So I could type states of matter here, and then down at the bottom I could click, and then this is where I can add my different things. So solids, liquids, and gases. And you'll notice that I don't have to go back up and click on the A. It's stuck on the A tool. A lot of people make the mistake when you're stuck on the A tool, they don't know what to do. So always go back to the arrow. And of course you have your line tool. You can make it a line with an arrow on the end, change colors, what have you. You have the eraser, which you cannot erase shapes, but you can erase things that you wrote with the pens. And that's just a brief overview of how to use the items in your toolbar in Smart Notebook.